What's scarier? Texting a girl or waking up at 40 wondering where your life went? For most of Philip's life, the promise of the letter has barely even made it onto his scariness scale. Getting close to a girl, on the other hand, well, you can probably guess. But I digress. Because today is not like any other day. As we speak, Philip is reaching for his phone by holding a neatly folded napkin that still smells faintly of coffee and Sophie's perfume. He unfolds it carefully, revealing a string of numbers carrying far more weight than they probably should. He has already made up his mind, but a tightness in his throat lingers. Will she answer? Will she even remember? And more importantly, he has absolutely no idea what he should text. In the end, he wings it, and before he can change his mind, send. Hi Zoe, it's Philip from the... Zoe. His stomach drops. Sophie. Her name is Sophie. Scene. Sorry, Sophie, I meant Sophie. Delete. No, too desperate. Sorry, I meant Sophie. Send. Philip lets the napkin fall onto his desk and stares at the screen. Typing. Gone. Typing. Gone again. Philip considers disappearing into the forest and never speaking to another human being again. He locks his phone and starts pacing around the room, dragging a hand across his face. Of course this would happen. Then his phone vibrates. Philip nearly drops it. That's okay. You almost nailed it first try. Philip stares at the message. Then another one appears. Also, I was starting to think you'd never text me. Something inside his chest finally unclenches. Philip releases a long breath, staring at the ceiling like a man who has narrowly survived a natural disaster. Slowly, he lowers himself back into the chair by his desk, and his eyes drift over the napkin. For the first time, he notices something written across its back, in small handwriting. You overthink too much. Philip freezes. For a brief moment, he seriously considers the possibility that exhaustion is finally starting to melt his brain. There's a notebook, now this? But after he blinks, the text is gone. He flips the napkin over. The phone number is still there, but nothing else. He shakes his head. I should really start sleeping more. A cool breeze drifts through the open window. Rain taps softly. Philip takes a deep breath. The air smells of rain, wet concrete, and freshly soaked grass. Outside, the city glows softly against the dark blue evening. Warm apartment windows, distant traffic lights, reflections stretching across the rain-soaked streets below like melted gold. How else would we go on a date? Philip dives back, a slight smile forming across his face. 3 dots appear almost immediately. Are you calling me on a date? Philip stares at the message for a moment. Then, yeah, I am. Send. Somewhere downstairs, tires hiss across the wet street below. Philip leans back in his chair, staring out across the glowing city as his phone vibrates. An hour later, he's lying in bed with his hands folded behind his head. A nervous warmth still stirs somewhere deep inside him, while the rest of his body feels pleasantly heavy with exhaustion. Friday night, 6 p.m. Cafe Oasis at Mollystrasse. He stares at the ceiling, far too tired to stay awake and far too awake to actually sleep. His thoughts drift briefly toward the notebook still sitting back at the cafe. Leaving it there had probably been a mistake. Tomorrow, he will throw it into the river. Or burn it. He still hasn't decided. Then he thinks about the message on the napkin. You overthink too much. But why? Philip closes his eyes. Somewhere deep beneath the exhaustion and nervousness, something unfamiliar quietly shifts inside him. Sleep comes slowly.